Now, before I begin the video, I do want to mention that if you are interested in checking out any of the brand's fragrances, I am going to leave links down below, and there's also a special coupon code that you can use for a free gift with purchase. The coupon code is Steven25. If you use that code, you get a free 25 milliliter atomizer of any fragrance from the Sensorial collection. I think it's a really good deal, and it's only active 2 weeks from the time that I published this video. So definitely make sure to take advantage of it if you've been thinking about purchasing anything from this brand. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I've actually covered a fragrance from this brand before, Embraser. I'm going to leave a link to that up here. Well, today we're going to be taking a closer look at an offering of theirs that I think is amazing for the summertime. This one is called Superfusion. The brand is called J.U.S Parfum, if you want to give it the French pronunciation. It is an acronym. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's video and I tell you all about Superfusion by J.U.S Parfum, what it smells like, comparisons, the notes, the performance, all of that pertinent information, I do want to start things off by saying that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Make sure to hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload these daily videos to YouTube. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if I gave you the opportunity to learn about a brand new fragrance today. So the name of the brand is actually Joyeux Unique et Sensoriel. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing anything. I don't speak French. I guess in English you can just pronounce it J.U.S Parfum, but it is J.U.S Parfum. And I find this to be a really unique fragrance composed by Celine Elena. So very accomplished perfumer there. And this fragrance has a lot of synthetic ingredients that are known to be heavy-hitting compliment getters. So I'm talking about, oh gosh, everything from ISOE Super to Hedione to Ambroxan. There are a couple different musks in here, so you have ambretolide and galaxolide, but then you also have a lot of other ingredients that are said to trigger the pleasure centers of the brain, heliotrope being one of them. There's also black pepper, patchouli, and immortelle. I'm very excited to give you my thoughts on this complex fragrance that is on the musky side of things, but let's go ahead and start things off with the presentation. Now, right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get this musk overdose. So if you are a fan of musky fragrances, there surely is a treat for you here. This is a really musky fragrance, and it has a couple different musks, as I mentioned. There's ambretolide, which is musky, but it also has a bit of an ambery personality, and there's also galaxolide. A lot of these synthetic musky ingredients, not only are they being used in place of the real musk, but they're also quite expensive. And I've seen the price for some of these oils, and it's not inexpensive by any means. So you have a combination of these two musks, and it adds a sort of billowy, clean, musky texture to the fragrance, but then it also takes these two other ingredients that are said to be huge compliment getters, ISOE Super being one of them, and of course that's found in fragrances like Molecule 01 by Eccentric Molecules, and you have Ambroxan. Ambroxan, of course, is found in tons of fragrances. I know one of the more popular ones is probably Sauvage by Christian Dior. This fragrance does not smell like Sauvage in any way, by the way, but it does have these very easygoing, clean, synthetic, musky, and aquatic ingredients. So the ISOE Super, the musk, so on and so forth. And it also has Hedione. Now, Hedione is an interesting ingredient because it used to be a captive molecule. Only Christian Dior was able to use it in their fragrances, and it was used a lot by the perfumer Edmond Rudnitska, who actually used it in Eau Sauvage. And so this goes back to like, I think, late 50s, early 60s, and up until recently was a captive molecule. Now anybody can use it, and they actually did an experiment with it where they had mammalian participants smell it side by side with another ingredient with a light jasmine odor, phenyl ethyl alcohol, and it turns out that those participants that smelled the Hedione had a sex differentiated response. And so it actually, when they did the brain scans, it actually had brain activity, which is really interesting. So hedione triggers the pleasure centers of the brain, as does heliotrope. And then when you think about these other sort of pheromone-like ingredients like the ISOE Super and the ambroxan, which is kind of like a beloved synthetic, it kind of jam-packs all of the best ingredients into this one fragrance. Now, it is a little bit peppery, and the patchouli does come across a little earthy as well. So it does have a darker personality about it. Immortelle to me always smelled like fenugreek spice. It smelled like toast. It actually also has like a bit of a maple syrup personality to it as well. And perhaps I'm getting very little bits of that, but I'm getting more of the other ingredients in here. Even the heliotrope that's in here is not overly strong in my opinion. So if you're worried about it being on the floral side of things, I personally don't think it is. I think it has more of like a clean floral personality as opposed to like a heliotrope and immortelle personality. Now the heliotrope, for me, it smells like almond, and I don't get anything in this fragrance that smells like almond. And even when it comes to really clean almond fragrances, Infusion d'Amande by Prada is probably one of my favorites, and this fragrance does not smell similar to it in any way. So this fragrance does have its own personality, which I appreciate very much so on the musky side of things. Musky without being animalic. Musky in a very clean, light, ambery way that also like triggers this pleasure centers of your brain. You smell it and you're like, what is that? Like, that's really, really interesting. So please sample this one if you can. You know, I don't recommend blind buys. I'm gonna leave links to where you can check it out down below. If you want to learn a little bit more about it, if you want to read the brand's description, all of that is up to you, but I'm gonna leave links down below for your convenience. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I do want to mention that this is unique with all of the ingredients that are in here, and it seems like it's probably a balance of natural and synthetic, but there are a lot of synthetic ingredients and a lot of them that have a pretty solid reputation when they're used in fragrances. In terms of the longevity, you can expect about 8 hours on your skin. I put it on my shirt today and it actually lasted beyond the 8-hour mark. In terms of the projection, projected quite loudly for the first hour and a half of application. It didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 5-hour mark, and it wasn't until that 8-hour mark that it pretty much became a skin scent. In terms of the versatility, perfectly unisex. I think this one can be worn dressed up or dressed down. I think it would be great in the summertime because of all of those clean, musky ingredients, but I also think this one can be worn very comfortably as the weather gets cold. With that being said, there are a lot of heavier offerings from this brand, so I would say try to enjoy this as much as possible in the hotter weather, spring and summer. Maybe even on warm autumn evenings you can wear this very comfortably and it'll do well on your skin, and I think this will appeal to anybody of any age. Lastly, my final verdict on this fragrance is, if you are a fan of the note of musk but you don't want a musk fragrance that smells like an old woman, pardon me for using that expression, but it's something you see floating around in the fragrance industry so often. If you don't want a fragrance that smells too animalic, but a clean, musky scent with ambroxan and ISOE Super and a lot of these other compliment-worthy notes, please check out Superfusion by J.U.S Parfum. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope I gave you the opportunity to learn about a new fragrance today. If I did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. It's absolutely free to you and it would mean so much to me. Hit the bell icon so you could be notified whenever I do upload these videos to the channel, and of course give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It would really mean a lot to me. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.